We appreciate everybody coming here today to our November CCC-TPP meeting. We have quite a few things. It's interesting because our agenda is not crazy big right now. I've put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat again if anybody has just joined us. But we just have so much coming up. And so I want to make sure we take enough time to honor that. So everybody, I know also a few people have different timing in terms of like when they're able to be on the call and not. So you may see me adjust the agenda just slightly in order to accommodate that. But let's go ahead first and start with some quick welcome and introductions. As you're coming into the meeting, if you could put your name, your position, and your institution in the chat, that would be great. I also know that we have a couple of our members that are newer to the group, and so I think it's really important to take the time to stop and say hi and connect the face to the name, to the institution. So you know what, let's start off with Bobby Becca, who just recently changed institutions. Bobby, how much longer can I pretend like this is a brand new change?
Well, I'm not officially moved into my new house yet, so you can carry it on.
Okay, so once we have the house party is when I'll stop saying it. Okay.
There you go.
Are you in a stable, Bobby? Because I saw a huge horse like walking behind you.
My dog.
That's a dog? Oh my gosh, that is huge. Holy Toledo.
He climbed up on the sectional behind me.
What kind of dog is that?
He's a Great Dane.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so and also because I worked at El Camino Community College District for over 15 years, it's hard to remember that I don't work for El Camino anymore. So I accepted a position. I got an offer at Kern Community College District. So I quit my job at El Camino and I'm attempting to move to Bakersfield. Apparently it's hard to find a house right now. So I did finally close on a house that I'm sitting in right now. I only have a sectional and one bed in here so far. But I will be living in Bakersfield sooner or later. I have been a supporter of teacher preparation for a long time. I'm actually a grants professional by trade. But I do maintain the statewide website. I do all that work and wherever I can help.
Awesome. Thank you, Bobby. I'm excited to get to know everybody from your new district as well. I already know there's some great people there, so it's going to be cool to see them, you know, more and more brought into the TPP family. So that's fantastic. Right. Yeah. And if any of you are working with others who are interested in, you know, joining TPP and just attending our meetings and being on our listservs, we're like 100% inclusive and anybody who's interested can be involved. You know, for a long time it was tied to funding. And then when the funding stopped, we just figured, you know what, we got to do what's right. Keep things going. Funding can't, if we make it contingent on funding, we're not going to get the work done. So
right, exactly.
Get it done. Awesome. Thanks so much, Bobby. Why don't we go to Melina now? Why don't you introduce yourself and say a little bit about who you are?
Hi, everyone. I'm Melina Simons. I am a full-time faculty member in ECE at Questa College, and I know a lot of you know Rosemary, and I get to work alongside her. And I also know a lot of you came to our social justice in the classroom event a couple weeks ago, so thank you for coming to that, and it was great to have all the attendees and support.
Melina, that was so well received that we actually, I'm producing the Teach for LA conference coming up next week. And literally it was like, put the brakes on. We need to get this session at Teach for LA. So we worked with everybody. We're contracting them because it's like, we need it to roll again. And so thanks for bringing that because it was so impactful. We had students that came out of that were like mind blown. And so thank you. Because how awesome then that we can then have them do it again too, you know?
Awesome.
So
I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that. We appreciate it. Leah, do you want to go next?
Hello, everyone. Good to see familiar faces. Leah Martinez from Rio Hondo College and also active board member and also promoting Teach for LA, of course. In our session, which is a student panel, how mentoring has impacted my journey to becoming a teacher. It's going to be a very compelling session, so I hope you can invite your students to attend that session. And of course, active fall convening, which I'm sure Steve will mention later. Thank you.
I love it, Leah. She's all, let me plug it all. I love it. Okay, let's go right to Steve then.
Hi, everyone. Steve Batista, Santa College, ACTEP as well. Yeah, things are going well, just busy. It's I looked at all the things that were attached to the agenda. It's like, we got a lot going on in November. Everybody's gonna be really busy in November, so good work. I think that's its introductions, right?
Yeah, that's great. And Steve also is he's leading the ACTEP convening that's coming up on the 19th and the Road to Teaching conference on the 20th. So we have both those attached to the agenda. One is more for us, any teacher prep leads, any stakeholders, and then the other, the Road to Teaching conference is fantastic for students. Staff, do staff attend also, Steve? Because I know I went, like when I was
Yeah,
a
it's open to all. It's open to all practitioners and future practitioners of education.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's come over to, how about Jane at AVC?
I'm muted. Hi, everyone. My name is Jane Bowers. I'm math faculty at Antelope Valley College. And I'm also a director of the Teacher Accelerated Preparation Program here too. And I'm new to the program and to holding the grant. So I'm learning as much as possible. And I'm very happy to be with the group of people who are focused on one goal, and you all have brilliant ideas. So I'm glad to be here.
I'm totally excited because Jane's leading her first TAP advisory next week. And I'm such a geek, everybody, but I love advisory. Like, I love being involved in them, and I'm just super excited to have everybody come together and have a chance to be involved in it. So awesome work, Jane. Let's go ahead to, how about Kathleen?
I'll go last because then I can go right into the other agenda item.
Perfect, Kath. Thank you. Okay, then let's go ahead to Michael Wicker.
Sorry. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Michael Wicker down at Southwestern College in Chula Vista. If I walked out of my office, you'd see the border. So that's where we're at, in case you don't know. So I am a professor of English and education. I'm the coordinator for liberal studies and teacher ed, and I'm the director of the Better Scholars Program, which is run off a Title V HSI grant to develop bilingual teachers in conjunction with San Diego City, San Diego Mesa College, San Diego State, and Southwestern College, all working together to develop a pipeline for bilingual teachers. So there's my stuff, and also ACTEP, but I'm not very good at it because I keep forgetting to send in my forms and do the stuff I need to do, because I'm also in a doctoral program. And Steve, we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna be in Orange County next week. Maybe we can figure something out.
Your support. Yep.
Michael, I hope it's okay then that I also connected you with the apprenticeship people, because I knew that they were looking at, creating something in your area, and I'm like, why wouldn't we pull you in? So I hope
and actually the County Office of Education is doing some cool stuff where they're doing educator pathways on diversifying the educator workforce and getting a hold of different teachers across the county and across Southern California to talk about their experiences and why we need to get our teaching workforce looking a little bit more like our student body.
Absolutely. Also, anybody who's doing apprenticeship work or looking into apprenticeship work, you've got to talk to Kathleen and what they are doing in San Francisco. Just last night, I was talking to the leader of the CEO of our local Boys and Girls Clubs, and I literally was like, if you want to roll an apprenticeship program, my friends up in San Francisco are doing it right. So we don't have to start new. We can see what they're doing and then build from there. And especially since those apprenticeship funding just came out, everybody, if you didn't get that email, let me know and I can shoot it over by all means. But thanks, Mike, for being open to making more connections and, just more synergy. I know it's really busy, but sometimes, it's also good to, just in case, check it out. And if it's going to be another project or partnership. Awesome. I think we have Yadira. Yadira, could you please introduce? And then we'll go right into Kathleen and her agenda item. Okay, maybe Yadira is not able to introduce, so I will pretend I'm her for a minute. Yadira,
Hi, everybody.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
My internet is not the best. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Okay, good. Hi, everybody. So nice to see you. I am Yadira Arellano. I am faculty over at El Camino College, and I also teach over at Rio Hondo College, part of the teacher preparation pipeline for the LA Regional. And glad to see you all. Michael, so glad. So nice to see you. I haven't seen you in ages.
I know, it's been forever.
It has been.
Since Sacramento. That's the last time I got together with all of you.
I think that was before the pandemic officially. I think we were in Sacramento when they were like,
Yeah.
you guys have to go back home.
Yeah,
Or
that was the 11th and
something
the
like
13th, they said.
Yeah.
Did you do her freeze? Oh, wait, no, she's back. Or is she back?
Yes, she's back.
Maybe
Yeah, I did. I freeze. I don't even know anymore. Honestly, I don't even know. No, it's me. It's my internet.
It's all
Lives in
good.
this big fancy house on the top of the hill, and she has shit internet.
I do, but I love where I live.
Then it's worth it, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you, Yadi, for being here. We know you're really busy with all the different initiatives you're leading right now, so we appreciate you being here. So let's go to Kathleen White and talk to us a little bit about what happened with Teach for the Bay.
Okay, and I, if you don't mind, I have 2 other agenda items to add. So thanks for putting me at the beginning of the, whatever this is called, agenda. So hi, Kathleen White, and I am currently, I am retired from City College of San Francisco, but it's nice to see some familiar faces and some new ones. I'm leading the ECE EDU sector apprenticeship project for the San Francisco Bay region with SWP funds. And it's really been quite successful. So I do want to tell you a few things about that. But let me start by saying we did Teach for the Bay, our big conference, October 6th, 7th, 8th. And we had, I know Questa was a presenter, and Leah, who's on the call, of course, designed our program. So she's the program designer extraordinaire. And we had almost 1,200 attendees, so 1174. So I rounded up. 30 something workshops. Leah probably knows exactly how many. And then we tried to get recordings, and they're posted on our website, teachforthebay.com. And those, we had a few people with technical issues, but many people did record, and so they can be viewed. And the great thing is that some of faculty from a number of colleges are using the recordings as either makeup classes or homework, or they're saying, watch this and do a paper instead of, you missed something. So that was great. And the other good thing about this year's Teach for the Bay, this is our second. So, we have one and then we have another one. We did invite more high school students. And so we sent out, in our region, we have regional liaisons to the districts, funded through K-12 SWP. And so some of them, not all, but some of them did get it out to their partner high schools. And we did see some high school students jump on. Interestingly enough, the high school students did not attend at night. We thought they would, but they're way too busy at night. So we got more high school students in the day, believe it or not, either in between classes, or they were doing it as part of their class or in their class. So I don't know, how, but anyway.
Kathleen, can I talk to that for just 1 minute? Because I had something happen that literally goes to that with Teach for LA. I have a high school teacher who is like taking her students out of their school day for the day, like they're going on a field trip. Do you know what I mean? But then they're going to go into a room together and go to different sessions. So she emailed me and said, Renee, which is the day that is the best bang for the buck for the students? Because in order to pull them, I was shocked though, because I always program assuming that our high school students will be joining us at night. And it was like, it's interesting because that's not the case as much now because of pathways.
They're way too busy. I mean, some of them work. Many of our high school students work after school or have sports or other things that keep them from joining. But they're also just socially way too busy at night to be on a conference workshop, which is what some of them told me. Oh, I have other things I do. And then I asked, and then I found out what they were. So really, I think the day workshops where the teacher guides them, or they've got free time, or, you know, they're seeing it together, or they're looking at the recordings. But we did have an uptick in high school participation. And yeah, Michael, retirement, woo! But it's good. So anything else, if you want to ask me. We were funded through our tail end of our National Science Foundation grant, which ended, and our Strong Workforce apprenticeship grant. We had several workshops dealing with apprenticeship. We had a great panel, and that's recorded if you want to look at it, with apprentices who are working, and they're talking about why they joined an apprenticeship and what it did for them. And they were all employed by the YMCA in the East Bay here as ECE teachers. And then we had workshops on joining different apprenticeship programs in the Bay region. So, and then many others around curriculum and social justice and diversity and recruiting teachers of color and all kind, getting a permit and a credential. I mean, all kinds of different workshops. So that's kind of the summary. Again, every time we do it, we learn things. We'll see if we have funding for next year. I don't know, but this is, we're on fumes as always. So, but we had a good turnout, and it was only 3 days this year instead of 5, and we still had almost 1,200. So, so that was great. So 2 other things I wanted to announce, and I said 2 and I put 3 fingers up because I have, problems. With apprenticeship, I do want to make sure you saw the WED memo that went out earlier this week, indicating we knew this. We knew that the state chancellor's office is sitting on a lot of apprenticeship money because they didn't do an RFP last year and they didn't do one the year before, and we've seen the money go in. So it was announced that, yes, there's a CAI apprenticeship grant. They're looking for non-traditional sectors. Can't think of a more non-traditional sector than one that brings women and non-traditional workers in early childhood and education. The first one's due December 17th, but they're going to have quarterly rollovers of applications, and they gave the dates in this memo. So take a look. It's under the state chancellor's office, and that tells me that they've got a lot of money that's got to get out. And if we're going to meet the governor's goal of 500,000 new apprentices in California, we're going to have to move, and there's going to have to be some women, because 6% of our apprentices now are female in California. I'll send you the memo. I got it in my email, so I'll forward it to Renee. Renee, can you get it out to everyone? And then Steve, I'll
got it right now, Kath, and I just started putting the dates.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where. Let me see if I can find the link, because that would be easy.
Yeah, I'll forward it to Steve too. So anyway, it's and then one other thing I want to announce one other thing, but related to apprenticeship, we're trying to do an HRTP, which is a high road training partnership in early childhood, probably first, maybe EDU might be easier in ECE. And rumor has it that more funding would be available if we had a HRTP. And if you look at who has HRTPs, it's plumbers, electricians, firefighters, manufacturing, transportation, nothing that there's no sector within HRTP that has predominantly female workforce. So that's one of our little goals for this year. The last thing I want to announce is that last spring in April, I introduced, with many of your help on this call, Steve, thank you. And we had Megan at Long Beach, and a number of you pushed it forward, a resolution to our academic senate. It had to do with, please, we need more support, we need more attention, and we need more really funding from the state chancellor's office. I just want to report 2 things. I'll be reaching out to some of you. I was given some guidance around needing a few colleges. We've been invited to do a rostrum article for the academic senate, and rostrum articles are pretty much complaining about what's not happening and all the reasons why. And that strategy seems to be very effective. It gets people's attention and it goes to the board. So we've been invited to do one in January, and I have a few people I'm going to contact. Kate Williams-Brown and I are going to kick it off, and we're asking for a few Southern California people. So Steve, I'll be emailing you. They gave me a kind of a geographic breakdown of what colleges I should have in that rostrum article. Then I just want to announce that this month, the Academic Senate President met with the State Chancellor's Office and mentioned this resolution and asked for the State Chancellor's Office to support it, and said that the sector is in crisis and that we really need to be paying more attention to it. So I was given the date of that conversation, and they're not just letting the resolution sit on a shelf. So that makes me happy. And stay tuned. That's it.
That's awesome, Kathy. That's great work. And I think it's so needed, because as I'm in other spaces and talking about, system-wide connection pieces, we don't really have one at the community colleges, right? When we're sitting in meetings with the head of teacher prep at CSU, the head of teacher prep at UC, the head of teacher prep here, and there's really at the system level nothing. And even communication channels, how do we push this information out? It's really a huge need, and any way that I can to support your work in that area. Again, I've also written extensively about it too, and how community colleges can be a pathway for diversifying the teacher force and all those kinds of things. Whatever literature and stuff I can share to add to the rostrum I'd be happy to do.
Great, thank you. I was happy we were invited, and it would be the January, late January rostrum. So we have a early January due date, and they're only like 2 pages. It's not a huge thing, but I'd like some key quotes from colleges. Dolores Davison, who is the head of the Academic Senate this year, did meet with the Chancellor's Office personally about this. So at least it's on the radar, and all we can do is keep trying. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kathleen. Really appreciate all that information. Also, do you know the Senate President personally? Like, can you give a thank you on our behalf, or would that be appropriate?
Not yet.
Okay.
The CTE lead, she's returning. So she was president last year. I know her, but I can't, it's more about the resolution, she is. I've met her online, but I think it's more the CTE lead who is new, who's bringing this to her. So that would really be the person, once we get the rostrum article out, we get some movement, I think, because we still fall under CTE and their structure. So I think soon.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kathleen. That's exciting. And that's exactly what we were hoping would happen with the Academic Senate resolution. So thank you, and Kate, for your leadership in getting that moving. And thanks everybody for your support of that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to do a quick switch on the agenda right now, because Rachel Johnson has joined us, and she's only able to be on about 15 minutes today. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Rachel to do a quick introduction so everybody knows who she is, and then also to share with us a little bit about what's going on with the early childhood education community practice.
Hello, everybody. Rachel Johnson, child development faculty at Ventura College. Have been leading the ECCOPs for the state. And my update is that I have been struggling. We have had at the last meeting that we had, where people had space to talk about the mentor program and mentoring and what people are doing, and I opened up a space for people to do that. At the end, we brainstormed a couple of ideas what people would like to have and hear in the next upcoming sessions. Some of it was updates on what's happening with the TPEs, and some of it is hearing from professionals who can speak to children's development and how it's been affected with COVID. And I've reached out several times to people to get those in place and haven't had any luck. And then October hit and it's been really busy. So I did follow up at once during October, but to be honest, I haven't done more follow-up than what I had planned on doing. So unfortunately, that's where we're at this moment. So if any of you know of somebody who might be a really good guest speaker to talk about children's development and the effect that COVID has had on it and what we're seeing in schools and with our children, I would really love to get that connection.
Rachel, would you be okay if it wasn't a statewide person, but if it was more like a district leader?
I'm fine with anybody who could be able to talk to that.
Okay, I've got somebody, I was just at a board meeting last night and I was talking with the lead of a preschool program about the gaps that they're seeing and like the different developmental kind of quirks and stuff that have come up that were not anticipated. So would you like me to reach out to her and see if she's available? Because she's dynamic,
Yeah.
She'd be good.
I think that would be really good. I know that they had suggested wanting like a psychiatrist, psychologist, but I would, at this point, anybody who could do a good job telling people about what they're hearing and seeing in the field, I think would be really beneficial. But yeah, I've been struggling with having people respond to emails. That's basically my update. So any help would be appropriate.
I appreciate you saying that, Rachel. Actually, our EDU COP leaders are not able to be here today. Shannon teaches during this time, and Megan had a conflict. And even within their COP, they've had good attendance at different meetings and everything that's been going on, but they just gave me a little blurb to share with everybody today because they've decided instead of hosting a meeting at the start of December, they are doing a survey to gather more input to have a better idea of what spring should look like. So, that's the one thing with our COPs is it's going to be interesting to see what happens over time and how things kind of maybe transition to something else or not. I think the one thing that the COP leaders will attest to that has continued to surprise us is how many people continue to show up. So if we have the ability to do the offerings, we're still having the audience. And so thank you, Rachel, for that. I'm sorry that people are not responding. I know I was CC'd on at least one of those, and I'm surprised she didn't write back. So we can try to, maybe for the new year, maybe she can come in and help us. But I'll go ahead and reach out to that district lead I know, and then I'll loop you in, Rachel, so that way we can see if we can get something going on.
That'd be amazing. And if anybody has suggestions of what they would like to see, if there are other topics that you'd like to explore, don't hesitate to send me an email, a message, something, so we can look at possibly getting something on the books. Because that's the other thing about the COPs is that they're responsive to the people. And so I was going based off of what people were saying they needed. And so if there are other things that we can think of, I would love to hear what other people need.
Wonderful. Are there any items that people would like to mention right now for Rachel? Hey, Sharon, welcome, welcome. I see Sharon's just joined us. But any specific items that you think would be important for the ECE COP to bring up, please make sure to share it with Rachel. If you don't have her email for some reason, feel free to send it to me and I'll make sure to connect with her. But we appreciate everything that our COPs are doing. It's a lot of work, but I'll tell you, it's been so beneficial. And every time you roll something, you just go, I wonder if anybody's going to show up. And then all of a sudden there's 20 or 40 or 50. And you're like, okay, there's a purpose still. So that's good. Thank you, Rachel. We appreciate your honesty. It's important. Let's go ahead now to a little bit of an update of Teach for LA. And I was actually, I was wondering if Leah would like to share with everybody on this, or if you would prefer me to. I see she's off camera right now.
Go ahead.
Oh, awesome. So you want me to, or you're going to, Leah?
No, go ahead. You can.
Okay.
And I can add if I remember.
Okay, perfect. Well, everybody, we are super excited for Teach for LA. It is coming up next week, starting on Monday. We are doing a little bit of a different format in that we are kicking off on Monday night and we are running 2 full days of workshops, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. We also have a bonus session that's happening on Thursday. Wait, did I say that right? Tuesday? Wait, sorry. We kick off on Monday. We run all day Tuesday and Wednesday. There's a bonus session on Thursday. ACTEP has their convening on Friday. We've got Road to Teaching on Saturday. Questa is actually partnering with us because we really wanted to, like, Questa has something great happening on Wednesday. And so instead of having a Teach for LA conflict, what we did was we changed our scheduling, put Questa's event like in it with permission. And we, of course, put that it was a Questa event, and then changed our wrapping event for Teach for LA, just to kind of accommodate. So we are running a shortened conference this time with everything that was going on with my mom earlier in the semester. As everybody know, I had to take some time off. And so our planning team determined that a week long of conference wasn't feasible. So we're running the 3 days. We've got, I think, 18 workshops, if I remember correctly, some really dynamic things that are going to be happening. We have some workshops that are specifically for TPP leads. We have workshops that are for students, for anybody who's interested in teaching. We currently have 424 people registered for the conference. Super excited to see what's in store. It's going to be a really great week. We've got some really solid sessions. Make sure you check out all the different topics. One of the things that I want to make sure, shoot, I had the Flipbook link and then I moved it for a minute. Leah, if you have the Flipbook link handy, can you put it in the chat so everybody can access that, please? And if not, once I stop talking, I'll pull it and get it up. But if anybody is, please check out the flipbooks that we do for Teach for LA and Teach for the Bay. We are so grateful that Leah is available. We contract her in order to do like the flipbooks and the marketing and stuff behind it. And so she is incredibly talented with this. And so, oh, thank you, Melina, for putting it up. I appreciate it. So please make sure you check it out. Please join us. Please share with anybody who's interested. Last Teach for LA, I closed registration, and which I always, you always close registration like the weekend before or the Friday before. And last time I closed it, and I ended up having so many people write me that I then said, just email me if you want to be added to the conference. And in those 5 days of the conference, we added over 100 additional people. And so, as much as it is like, I'm going to be honest, because it's like so exhausting because you're running all the sessions and then you're having all these emails and you're having to send everybody everything. So it's a lot. I think I'm going to do the same thing this time. So that way, instead, like I'll close it and then I'll kind of have a sliding registration for anybody who still wants to join. So if you have any, last minute faculty or students who want to jump in, please encourage them to. And also, when we're talking with students and our stakeholders, please make sure that you mention, even if you can just go to 1 or 2 things, you don't have to go to the whole conference. It's pick and choose what works for you. So, okay, Leah, anything, Leah and Yadira, anything I forgot? Or, oh, one thing I should mention too, thank you to Kathleen White, who is coming and doing a special session for us at Teach for LA. We are incredibly grateful for you and Kate doing that. Normally it was like almost all LA people, and this time we had a lot of partners that helped out. So appreciate it very much. Yadira and Leah, anything else you want to, or anything else you want to say that I left out?
No, you pretty much covered it, Renee. Yeah, she did. She covered everything.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is that a virtual program is now in our Teach LA website, so you can access that program there too. And thank you, Melina.
Awesome. And I see Steve's hand up.
Yeah, just kind of just your comments about the logistics of it in terms of opening and closing. So, because we're running a conference too, and I'm wondering, is there an alternate way to, because Zoom now allows people to register, right? You can actually have them register. So I'm wondering, after you share all the links, if you made the Zooms then like register, then people you would have, because you're trying to capture like who's getting the stuff, right?
Totally. And that, Steve, we did that. It was interesting because I have requested that. And so some of the presenters do it, but since they originate their own Zooms, like some people don't. And so, I send like 1 or 2 requests and I'll give them examples. And if they don't, I don't want to push it too much, but we also ask them to upload their registration lists after, because then who registers for the conference versus who attends is different. Right. And so it's great when you can catch those metrics. But that Zoom link where you can do the registration ahead of time is great, because then you know who was in your session.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, make it easier logistically wise. I mean, and then also to make sure you are capturing the numbers, because we know it's critically important for reporting and all those kinds of things as well. So yeah.
I am always.
I'm not. Sorry, Renee. I'm not sure if you mentioned that Yadira is our keynote speaker.
I did not mention that. And thank you so much, Leah, for saying that. But Yadira is our keynote speaker, and she's actually doing two keynotes, one on Monday night and one on Wednesday. Very different messages. So the
Yes.
first one is about pathway and like her journey. And the last one is like 100% motivation. You can do this. Go kick some butt kind of talk.
No, yeah, we have to. I think that it's important that we let our students know that we're just like them. And I think that's what's missing. And once they see that, and I see it with my classes and with my students all the time, you know, there's this untouchable kind of field, almost like a glass ceiling. And once you kind of remove that, the students really, really kind of open up. And I feel, you know, for all of us who are child development people, you guys know, you know, the development of them and the learning that takes place is meaningful when the student is engaged, and they're only going to get engaged if they feel like they can trust you. So, you know, we're going to focus on that. I promise not to get emotional. I've been practicing. Actually, I'm getting very good at it. But I really want to motivate the students. On the last day, I really want to kind of focus on you can do it. You know, it doesn't matter how you get there, but just getting there.
I think at this point of the semester too, it's going to be a really good message that everybody needs. Yeah.
Yes.
Kathleen, I see your hands up.
We allowed for registration up to the time of the workshop. And in fact, people, I have to just say, our students maybe up here in the Bay Area are total procrastinators. Our registration just boomed the week before up till the moment of the workshop. And we were still getting emails during the workshop. So whatever we can do to accommodate student schedules and their forgetfulness, that's just how it was. Can I go back to, you had asked about topics.
Yeah.
You or Rachel, I think, did Rachel leave? No. Yeah, she's not
She's
here.
only going to be able to be on like 5 or 10 minutes, so she might.
Yeah,
have jumped
I
off.
just think for the ECE community of practice and the TPP and the EDU community of practice, I don't know how many of you were on the P3 webinar yesterday. You know, CDE's been doing these webinars, usually staffed with consultants who have expertise in certain areas, but maybe not an awareness of other areas. So every time I go to one of those webinars, I click off and I feel frustrated, like, and very often you can't ask questions, and the consultants are all, it's like there's an attitude of you know, they're telling the audience kind of something, and then really the people I think that would have the deep and probing questions are muzzled. You know, there's no questions, no chat. So this has kind of been a trend, and I do think that a topic may be, you know, how to provide for all the COPs, how to provide meaningful input into CDE's changes and budget and plans. And then I also think we really need to be on top of everything that's happening with TK. The TK expansion, the rollout, we've had some meetings up here where districts are saying, nope, not doing it. Other districts are just overwhelmed. They want to do it, but can't. And I think the really key problem, and I'm sure it's not just our area, but districts are talking to themselves. You know, they're meeting with their administrators and talking about TK. And really, this is a community issue, and we need much more involvement, and community colleges and CSUs need to be in this mix. So kind of a peach discussion also, but I think our communities of practice, if people feel the way I do after I hear these webinar seminars on P2 articulation and what kind of training people need and pathways, I end up just feeling frustrated, and I don't know, it's frustrating. So I think it's, you know, if you're asking, I think Rachel asked, you know, what kind of topics. I can't imagine I'm the only one that feels like this. And I think it'd be great to kind of strategize.
Kathleen, those are great suggestions. And I was not on yesterday's call, but I have been on the past, and I've had that feeling where it's like you're in the meeting and you're getting tense in the meeting. And I think we would have been on once before when they were even like people in our team were sending questions and they weren't publicly going up, like they were being disregarded. And so, yes, you're not alone with that. That's a one, and these are great suggestions. I'm going to send them to Rachel after the meeting today, and then we'll see how we can expand these and, get that conversation going. Thank you.
And Shannon too. I think TK spans, I mean,
It
TK
totally does.
affects all of us.
Yeah.
And how it's rolling out, and do college faculty basically have a voice in the rollout? I think that's the key question. Do we have a voice? And this is our bridge program between the two pathways. So how are our voices heard? And then how are the needs of our students taken into consideration? And I don't mean just pathway and pipeline and ADT. I don't mean at that level. I mean at the communication level, and I mean at being heard.
Great. Thank you. I took lots of notes. I appreciate it so much, Kathleen. Thank you. Let's go ahead.
I just want to back up what Kathy said. It sucks. I absolutely hate those webinars where you're like, oh, you just want a bunch of people to sit there and listen to your spout your stuff. You don't actually care about what anybody thinks or to get any input or collaborate. Yeah, you're muted, your camera's off, you can barely even, sometimes the chat's open, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's just Q&A, and they don't respond to your Q&As anyway. So why do they have it? Yeah, Kathleen and I have been on some of the same calls where she'll respond to my question, but nobody else will. So I just like to say, you are not alone. Yeah.
They're not frivolous questions. It has to do with how are the college systems included, and how do faculty, what we teach, how can we incorporate what you're planning? They're not frivolous.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound rude, but they answer the frivolous questions.
Yes.
The reason I think ours are not answered is because they're like deep, systematic, like higher level questioning. And I think that,
They either don't have an answer or don't want to say it in public.
I sometimes think the saying it in public is what holds it back.
Yeah. So I think, this is the time before we get a structure that we can't live with, or it's planned by a consultant that was paid quite a bit of money to plan a structure around us, or
to plan a structure around something they know nothing about. Usually.
So I think it's kind of a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Kathy, I saw the CTC has a work group, a call for members of a work group to work on the ECE credential piece of it all. So I'm hoping that we have community college people who are applying for those spots. And we'll get access at least at that level.
I agree. I saw that, Steve. I don't want to, I'll get off this in a second. I saw that, and I think that's a great way for us to give input, but that's at one level, and the CTC level of all the activities tends to be the most proscriptive and restrictive. So, what we get is guided by legislation and policy already, and, sections of law. And so, yes, we absolutely have to participate, but I think it's more the inclusivity of being an expert, and right now we've got panels of new consultants. There were two more consulting groups brought on at yesterday's webinar. Never heard of them, and they're going to be guiding the planning. And I'm like, oh, okay, never heard of them. I'm not sure who they are.
Do you remember the names?
Yeah, it's in the notes. I'll find it. Okay. But they all, it's just enough.
They like to bring on consultants, I know.
If you don't get the PSD news that comes out every Friday, I just put the link in the chat so you can sign up for it. It's from the commission, and it gives a lot of information about different things that are going on and work groups. And years ago when we had a chunk of us serve on the transition teams from Tony Thurman, I think that information even came out that way. So you get it usually on Fridays, and read it. And read this is a newsletter you read every line of, and you're checking links and stuff like that. It is definitely worth it. Okay, great. You know what, Steve? Steve, are you okay to stay on for like another 15 minutes or 20 minutes of the meeting?
Of this meeting, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, okay, because Rosemary is on right now and she can only stay on for 10 minutes. So is it okay if we have her talk about Questa and then we'll have ACT UP right after?
I'm happy to yield my time to Dr. Wren.
Thank you so much. Okay, Dr. Wren, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, it's really brief, and Melina probably could help. Well, she'll have some more information on that. We've been programming up a storm up here at Questa, and next week we have, oops, is it possible to share my screen, my dear? So next week we have another event coming up that Renee and the powers that be have allowed us to include in the Teach LARC, and it is on our favorite topic of the season, basic skills requirements. And I literally just got off the meeting to do our final planning for that, and it is going to be, it's aimed at Questa students, but it's actually not just at Questa students. It's for anybody who wants to hear from a credential analyst about the basic skills requirement. We are going to mention the subject matter, but that will be a mention, not a focus. It's basically Alma from Cal Poly SLO is going to go through the whole thing. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about what the CBEST is looking like right now, in case that's an option for people. I was literally on Facebook this morning, or Twitter or somewhere, and a woman had posted this comment, which was, hey, I hear some people are taking our courses so they don't have to take the CBEST. Can you tell me which English course you took? And I'm like, oh goodness. Do the test prep and pay your $30 and just get it over with as a test. So we're still going to talk about the CBEST in the thing on next Wednesday night. So obviously, if people are not enrolled as Questa students, they won't be eligible for the stipend, but they're still welcome. We're welcoming faculty. We're welcoming people who are done with their BAs. Anyone can come. And we're going to have a couple breakout rooms for Q&A after Alma presents most of it. And that'll be, we're going to break it into current undergraduate students and then everybody else. So current teachers, current administrators, faculty like us who are training future teachers. So that's what's happening next Wednesday, and it's part of the Teach LARC. You can register directly. Thank you so much, Renee, for that. And I'm going to do another pitch for something we have coming up on November 30th that literally evolved last week. And Melina can answer a bunch of questions if I have to go. But we're doing a day in the life of a paraeducator. We have been getting calls literally weekly from every district in the county looking for paraeducators. So we mobilized, and we actually had written a course on intro to being a paraeducator and intro to special ed last year. That it's one course and for this purpose, because we've been getting questions and now it's a flood. And so we're partnering right now with San Luis Coastal in putting together, it will be generally local information about how to apply to San Luis Coastal, but we're figuring it's going to be broad ranging, because basically we're going to demystify what is a paraeducator, why might you be really interested in doing this while you're getting your doing your undergrad and your teaching credential, and demystifying the requirements, which are either the 40 units or the exam. And so we've got our hands on the exam and some prep pieces. So we're trying to, between now and then, we each are putting together our resources in kind of like a checklist, like how to become a paraeducator, because I'm assuming this is not just a local problem. I know it's statewide. So again, we'll put that out once we have our final flyer and stuff. I'll send that out to y'all. So that's what's up.
Wonderful. Rosemary, do you mind if we also share that flyer with the person who had that inquiry this morning? Because I know I tagged Mike Mansfield on it, who teaches CBES, and then I saw Steve wrote and responded to her and gave some more information about here's like the links and the alternative. I'm trying to think of what you called it, Steve, but like, you know what I mean? Like you gave the information about other ways that the subject matter competency can be met. And so, wait, not subject matter. Sorry, I'm going back.
Basic skills. Yeah, that's the problem. We keep switching around.
But is it okay if we also add the flyer to that link as a resource?
Yes, and I'm going to give it to you here. Or do you already have it?
I've got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, these programs that we're putting together, we are happy to share, and we've had such great participation from people from all over the place at our events. And I think this paraeducator one, we need to publicize it, because our class, our paraeducator course is, we set it up as a late start, and it's asynchronous. So anyone, anywhere could take it. And it provides a little bit of background on special education, a little bit of like, what is an IEP and 504 and all that kind of stuff, is how, and what are the different, just basic, but enough to kind of give them a boost into a classroom. So.
Many paraeducators learn about IEPs and 504s as they are encountering them. So to even have a heads up on what that is and just the legal ramifications of those, early is important for people. So Rosemary, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Also, Rosemary, would you say the name again in case there's other people that might want to get a copy and see what you've done? You know what I mean? And might want to replicate?
Of the paraeducator thing, or what?
Of the paraeducator. Yeah.
Yeah, we have, what do we call it, Melina? A day in the life of a paraeducator. And in the spring semester, we're going to do another one that goes into, we're going to have a panel. This one in November is going to be just pushing out information like, here's what it is, here's how you do it, here's what Questa has to offer. And then at the beginning of next semester, we're going to go a little deeper and have panels of educators and paraeducators, and to kind of demystify it more and really push it, because like people are crying when we say, sure, let's see what we can do to help you. And so getting the word out statewide.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Michael, I see you've got to go. Thanks for being here today. It's great to see you. Really good to see you. Let's go ahead to Steve now, Dr. Batista, and let's get an update on a lot that's going on with ACTA.
Hi, everyone. Thanks. Did you hear what's going on in different spots? And I think that kind of will lead into hopefully some of the topics we'll cover at the convening. But I first wanted to share that several members of ACTEP and Teacher Prep were at the CCTE conference in October in San Diego. And I would just like to invite anyone who is looking to connect with colleagues at the CSU and the UC independent colleges who are part of educator preparation programs, credential programs, directors, deans, faculty, to join CCTE. ACTEP is an affiliated organization. With them, they have really embraced community colleges, and they want to partner with community colleges. And they had their first in-person conference in October at a beautiful location in San Diego. And their president and their whole board is really supportive of ACTEP and community colleges, and in fact invited us to present on the Saturday of the workshop in the fall, a session dedicated to community college teacher education programs as part of their conference. And so we'll be working to try to put that together to really showcase programs and partnerships, as well as to really talk about some of these critical issues that we need help with. And where a lot of those programs, some of them are at the table, and stakeholders and the individuals who are in that room, the CTC commissioners show up to that conference, and other folks who are in connection with legislators and policymakers. So I think that's a good space for them to hear our concerns, and also for you to make connections, individual campuses to make connections with programs. It's I think a really rich group to be a part of. And so encourage that, and we'll get more information out. But their conference is normally in October. It's at a horrible location on Shelter Island on the beach in San Diego, a resort that looks out over the bay with the sunshine. It's, you know, it's difficult to wake up and look out at that every day, but it's an amazing spot. So I encourage you to think about that, because they actually want to be partnering with us. The convening is coming up on the 19th in a week from Friday, and the topics we just shared, and we kind of solidified our sessions. And can I share my screen as well, Renee?
Absolutely. Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you. And so our convening topics were just shared, I think, with our listservs today. And if you didn't get it, let me know. We'll send it out to you. So we have, it's going to be short. It's from 9 to 2. We have 3 main sessions. One is talking about, from a practitioner in LA Unified, talking about how restorative justice is actually being, what it is, and kind of how it's being played out in schools, and how teachers are part of this process, and how we need to be really training our future teachers to continue to work in this this type of work as they're progressing through and moving through their own careers. Then we have a session here on unpacking and understanding AB 130, as Rosemary was sharing that she's doing for students and other practitioners. I think this is a kind of an ongoing thing where we have folks who have different levels of understanding of what's going on, from I know about it and know a little bit about it, to people have a deeper understanding. And so we really wanted to bring together, just as Rosemary is doing, is our folks who are part of this work, and how it kind of impacts our work, the daily work, and what we should be advising students at this point in time. So, and we'll also be having a discussion kind of like how this leads off, what this will do to the future of the associate degree for transfer in elementary teacher education with these new ways to meet subject matter competency. And then Kathy and others are agreed to share the stage or the Zoom screen in an intersegmental teacher prep stakeholders discussion on the PK through teacher prep changes. So we have the lead administrator from the CTC, faculty from CSU, and I believe is Nancy and Sharon. They've also part of Peach, Kathy, right? Yeah. And then Kathy from the community colleges. So like, there's folks who are really knowledgeable about this, because to be honest, I mean, I have a very thin understanding of what's going on. So I really want to take it deeper, because I know this is the place where this all intersects. And I really want to have a deeper understanding in what I need to be doing and need to understand as a teacher prep coordinator and leader, and what I can do to help champion this work for our colleges and for our students. So that's that. Thank you. And then, yeah, the registration is open. It's free if you are an ACTEP member. We are charging $25 if you are a non-member, because we are a nonprofit organization and have to have some expenses on the back end of this. So we do want to provide a quality space, even though it's virtual. But yeah, we hope that you will join us there. And during the meeting, the ACTEP meeting convening is the lunchtime hour is actually our business meeting. We'll be electing new officers for the board of directors for the organization. And so we have a slate of candidates, but we are still looking for candidates from the north. So we have 2 openings in the north. I think we have 1 candidate from the north at this point. So still looking and, you know, twisting arms there. So if you know anybody. Yeah, and I think that's it. I think that's it for now. And again, it's a busy time. I know everyone's doing a lot, and it's and I totally understand. It's like being behind and trying to keep all the plates spinning and doing the work. But again, appreciate it all, and yeah, I'm glad to be a part of the group and to share. And hopefully, you'll send your students to the Road to Teaching Conference. That's really shaping up to be an exciting one. We had a pre-conference meeting with the National Teacher of the Year from their people. They are super pumped about being in live space with our future teachers, and it should be a really good keynote. So thanks.
Steve, I'm putting a reference in the chat right now. Sorry, it's taken me a second because I had to look it up. Tanya Mack is running the Northern California Teach Up. She is one of the 3 campuses that got that Dobbs funding.
Oh, okay.
So she's fantastic, and she's like a dynamo. She might be somebody that you want to reach out to. I had a chance to meet with her, and she's on our TPP listserv and has joined some of our meetings. So I don't know about her capacity, but I do think she would be a solid leader, and maybe a good match for the ACTEP Northern position that's open.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Oh, Steve, I wanted to also ask, will you be recording the sessions? Like if somebody's not able to be there, but would be either as a member or can pay, like can they still access recordings after?
Yeah. So we'll record them as we've done previously, record them and then put them up on our YouTube channel as well.
Perfect. That session with Phyllis and Nancy and Kathleen, like I totally want to see that because that's a really great one. And I would be there face to face, but I'm actually going to be keynoting at a college that day. So I won't be able to be there face to face. So thank you so much, Steve. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, now if we look at our agenda, we actually don't have too much more to cover. We have the COPs, and I gave the brief update from Shannon and Megan, and that's also on our agenda. So they are going to not have the meeting in December 3rd, and instead they're doing a survey to see what the needs are of everybody across the state so we can respond accordingly. We have, Rachel gave the update on the ECE COP, and I am still leading the leadership COP. We've had 2 great meetings. We recently had Tanette Salter as a guest speaker and a really nice group of people attending. It was a really good session. So I do want to share just a couple of the other announcements that are on the agenda. So just everybody, FYI, our next meeting is scheduled for December 8th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. If you can join us, it'd be great. I wanted to share with you this flyer from El Camino College, but I also put some additional information below. To this weekend and then next weekend, they're having this really dynamic panel of educators. And I just want to showcase this list of these are all the types of people that are going to be on these 2 panels. And so I really think, especially the professional panels that are happening, if we have students who are able to engage in those would be great. We've also got Janet Young, who is going to be the keynote happening on the 13th. So there was a registration link on the flyer, and I was having trouble like actually having it send me anywhere. So we also put the link directly below in blue. So if you can share that, that would be great. Teach for LA, everybody knows about that. We've got the flip book and we've got the Eventbrite link. If you are not registered, please register today. And if you have not shared it with your students, if you could please share it with them and entice them to attend, whether it be just for their well-being or to actually get extra credit or tying it to a class of some sort that you're teaching, that would be great. Rosemary shared about the pathways to the teaching credential. We want to make sure that we have this flyer out for everybody. It is in the Teach for LA flipbook, but please register today for that. It's going to be really interesting. Rosemary's not on. Does anybody remember, did she mention if that will be recorded? I don't believe, and I know that last week they did not record. So if this is information you want to get, please don't assume there's a recording that you might be able to check out afterwards. I would just assume that you need to be there for this one. Oh, thanks so much, Jane. And special thanks to Leah for putting that together. She is like the graphics goddess and can format and do all great things. It's unbelievable what she creates with that flip book. We have the ACTEP convening that Steve just shared about. Please make sure to register today. And then we have the Road to Teaching Conference, which is the free conference that Steve has been leading for. Steve, has it been 20 years that you've done this? You've produced this conference?
This is 21. This is the 25th annual, but this is number 21 for me.
Oh, fantastic. And I know what goes into producing a conference. So hats off, because I know it's a lot. Anyway, so
that we compete with each other, though. I saw like Dira put an event on Saturday, too. So it's like, it's I know we're all kind of like planning in silos, but I wish there was some way that we could share the resources, so that those things could be available at different times. But I just know it's hard because the way we operate. So
Yeah. Steve, let me talk to Yadira and see if her sessions can be recorded. So at least then if students are attending Road to Teaching and they want to go to the other, we can have it they can go to it virtually or something. So I'll check in with her today and see if it'll be recorded. And if
Ours will be
not,
as well, so they'll be up on our website afterwards too. So, but yeah, that would be, it's. I just know it's November. It's like these 2 weeks. It's like we have everything packed in.
It's so funny because I was thinking things would be quiet at this time. I mean, I know you always do Road to Teaching at this time, but I thought it would be kind of quiet, and November's not quiet. Okay, great. Well, that is all I had today on the agenda and all that everybody had said that they wanted on the agenda. So any other items or any other topics that people want to talk about today? I think Sharon, did you put your hand up or was that we can't hear you. Could you unmute, please? You're not muted.
Mute.
There we
Okay.
are. There we are.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, yeah, November is crazy. It's supposed to be, it's usually around this time. It is very quiet. Next week, I don't know where we're going to do all this stuff, but we're going to try, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I'm looking forward to spring too, because Steve, will there be an ACTEP convening in spring? Is there plans for that?
No, it's only usually in the fall, and we
Only in
usually
fall.
for professional development stuff in the spring.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to something face to face. I don't know when it'll happen, and it might just have to be, maybe we should just, would it be weird if I just said I'm going to have a party at my house and like see who shows up? I was thinking over winter break, I'm like, a lot of people take 3 weeks. What if I just was like, hey, come to my house and have lunch? Anybody who wants to? Would people be into that, or is it weird?
Wait, where do you
A little bit
live?
of both.
Where do you live?
I'm in Southern California, Sharon, so you'd probably have to fly down or drive down. But I've got a nice extra bedroom. You can just crash at my house.
Drive up. I'm in San Diego. What are you?
Oh, I don't know why I was thinking you were in Northern Cal, San Diego. Oh, that wouldn't be that bad at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think we remember we had the conference, and I remember, we had the conference. I think it was one of the last conferences we had.
Yeah.
Or we had the ACTEP convening in LA. I think maybe that was the last one, right?
Wasn't it the Marriott? I remember that. Yeah.
And then there were fires. I remember this. Who remember?
Yes, because I think the fires were probably in my area.
They were.
We
And I
always get
remember
fires
it
in
took
my
me like
town.
6 hours to get back to San Diego. I'm going, what?
Oh,
It was crazy.
it was crazy.
I remember this. Anyway, what can I say?
Renee, I was gonna say it's not crazy because Yadira, as soon as she knew I closed on this house, she was already planning a TPP Friendsgiving here.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
It's like I only have a sectional right now. I don't have any real furniture yet.
Don't worry, I've got blow up beds, Bobby. Okay, so it sounds like maybe we do want to do something. So Bobby and I will talk offline. We'll come up with something for some time in fall, see who's available, and we'll just roll it out and see if people can come. Okay.
Hey, Bobby, let me see that dog. What is this? Who is this? This is, oh, so cute. Mine is going crazy. Too much staying at home. Hello.
That's my Great Dane Opie.
Aw.
He's
So
laying
nice.
on one half of the sectional.
I love that
He's
breed.
got dog beds, but he decided to crawl up here beside me.
I love it. He's even cuter in person, Sharon.
I can imagine.
Yeah, you should see what I'll never forget. During the beginning of the pandemic, Bobby and her daughter made homemade masks for my family, and she surprised me and drove up. And she drove up. She's got this cute little Fiat, and Opie is like the entire back of the car. So she's like, "Hold on, I got to bring him out to take him on a quick walk." It's like, oh my gosh, it's so fantastic.
He barely fits in the back seat of that Fiat.
I mean, you remember Joyce, who is now, may she rest in peace. But I remember once I felt so guilty that I left her at Camp Runamuck, where it's not bad, it's like running around outside. And so I look on the webcam like this nervous mother. She finds this Great Dane and she just found heaven. Because someone, she just ran all over the place. They say, and then when they give you the little report card, like your kids in kindergarten, how Joyce played so nicely with the bigger dog. And then these, the little yappers, the little ones are not in this group. We're talking about big dogs. And Joyce was big, but the Great Dane is like that. They're wonderful. They're wonderful.
Joyce was a sweetie.
Joyce. Pupa's a little bit more energetic.
Oh.
She hates the Liberty Mutual commercial and she barks at it. And you know how many times you see that on TV? It's almost as many times as you get those phone calls that it's the IRS or it's the Social Security, you know, the Liberty Mutual. I don't know. I would never get their insurance because of that. The dog goes crazy over. I don't know why, but
Oh, that is funny.
anyway, it's very good to see everyone. Maybe remember the conference in Sacramento?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can do that again.
I just need to get like 100 grand and then we can do it. Unless we charge everybody. But you know what? I honestly feel that, I feel like I'm always saying this, but I really feel like the time for teacher prep is going to come soon.
I think so.
Because the crisis is so out of control right now. And I
We'll
shouldn't
be
be
begging us
laughing, but it's
soon.
like,
So out of control. They wouldn't let me do marketing. And I have a grant and I put in there, like a lot of money for marketing and another for research because I want data. And they say, no, the board has decided you can't do it. And, and then, we're having enrollment issues because I'm no longer exclusive as online. And then I have, there's territorial issues with the other colleges. And you know how when you do a certificate, I'm just going to vent. There's a certificate. And so you have to do for regional approval. Who else in your area has this? Who else in your district? So, why do they ask the question if it doesn't matter? I see in my district that there's some people I don't even get credit for what I did. It's not like a course outline where you want to have everything alike because you want it to articulate. It's proprietary stuff. It's even the name, and even changed the name of what the thing is or the outcomes, and nobody cares. You sit and, it's all this, I think it's the guy in research as well. It's like the wild, wild west. Everyone does what they want because there's so much uncertainty and everyone, but one of these days I'm afraid that it's going to crash, that they're going to say teacher prep out, or they're not going to support it enough to make it viable. So I am worried, but I'm always worried. I've been doing this for a long time, but I am concerned about what's going on because there's a lot of changes and there's a lot of, we collaborate, but I'm not sure districts collaborate anymore, and it's like, it used to be you have a class and you say, okay, I'm going to do this one, you're going to do that one, and you collaborate, but I don't see that happening as much, and it's too bad. So there's my vent for the day. So I just thought I would share that good news, but it is something to think about.
it is a different time, that is for sure.
Different.
But I think we need to just keep coming together and doing what we do and trying to be strategic and, keep training teachers because we need them. That's for certain. I do also think we need to be watching the vaccination mandate because if that officially solidifies, and what I mean, we're going to have to anticipate the changes that are going to come along with that. So
Look, I had a student say to me, this is Education 200, as if she's going to tell on me and go to the president that I didn't put in the syllabus that she needs a vaccine. So, I get upset at stuff like that. I go, oh my God. But you know what? I never said she needed a vaccine. If she wants to do field work, maybe they said she needs a vaccine, and that, it's not my call. I'm not Governor Newsom, and it wasn't even there in August when the syllabus was made. And, that I have some students who are really anti-vaxxers, and I hear it from their parents, so meaning I think that's where it's coming from. And, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to require field work or the alternative. And but I think, our district, they asked us to upload our card and all that,
Yeah.
So,
definitely got to keep it on the radar, everybody, for sure. But thanks for being here today. I hope it's okay. We're a couple minutes early. So everybody have a great rest of the day. Hopefully see you at all the different things happening next week.
Bobby, I still have your mask, see?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Leia's got Bobby's mask.
Let's see the mask.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, I want you to come visit me in San Diego, and I want you to bring me one. I like that. Very cute.
Text me your address and I'll mail you some.
Yeah. They're nice.
I like that.
That's what I did. I just mailed them to people.
Okay, I'm gonna send you my address. That's
Okay.
Remember the what do you call it? The apples, the USBs.
Yes.
So I still give them to people when
You
I
use
see
them
them, but
for?
now I haven't seen people in so long. And then